Hello, my name is Dr. George Mochocki, and welcome to session 15, Supply Chain Distribution. We just finished marketing and pricing, and the next section 16 is going to be promotion. So this is a lead into our coming up discussion on promotion. But before I promote, I have to understand the distribution chain. I have to understand the 6 types of utility. I have to understand my position. Am I a retailer or am I a wholesaler? I have to look at the logistics of the organization. I have to look at the channel relationships and what online sites are needed, forms of non-store retailing. All this basically is part of our series that we'll be going that's looking at organizational introduction of business organizations, whether I'm a small business, a large business, or a medium business. I have to understand the different supply chain distribution, because that is how I get my supplies, my inventory. This is also how I sell outside my operation to my clientele, either to businesses or to consumers. This is also what I utilize as a marketing part of my integrated marketing, so I could say, hey, my distribution, my warehouses are right around the corner, or they're within a 20-minute or a half an hour for my operation. So I always have your products on time. If I'm a pharmaceutical, I could use the distribution as just-in-time management, because I could say, hey, I'm Abbott Labs. I'm right here in Waukegan, so I could take care of the Lake County and Cook County. You do not need to have the supply to keep a larger supply of drugs or pharmaceutical, because I could deliver it within, within 24 hours. Okay, so let's go on this. You're either taking me on an online class, a face-to-face class, a hybrid class, or one of my workshops. So we're going to go right in here. I got this in the larger. Again, you already have accessibility to my mind maps, or my concept maps, and all material if you're in any of my paid classes. Okay? So let me just slip this. Marketing intermediaries. What the heck are marketing intermediaries? They're people that in between. Organizations that assist in moving goods and services. They're in the middle of the series of the firms that distribute goods. It could be UPS, it could be the post office, it could be my own distribution system. It could be that if I look at Walmart utilizes the same distribution systems for Sam's Club. So Sam's Clubs, they buy by larger quantities, and they also have that economies of scale because they also supply the regular Walmarts. Okay? So that's what intermediaries are, business to business, from business to business. We already talked about this. Business to consumer, from business to consumer. Make sure when you are taking an exam, if you're taking an exam, sometimes people play games and they'll say C to consumer to consumer. And a lot of individuals think, hey, the internet is consumer to consumer. No, the minute you're on Amazon.com and you're selling something, you take the role of a business or a small business that's basically selling the goods to the consumer. Okay, so we have that. Channel distribution. Now let's go some general information about the channel distribution. We'll come up here. Maybe I could just make this just leave it a little bit bigger. Let's see what 300 does. Okay, perfect. So you can see that even with my face in there. Okay, so you got general information. What's the general information? Supply chain links intermediaries, a group of marketing intermediaries joining together to transport store goods from producers to consumer. If I look at the way the author is looking at marketing intermediaries, it could be business, a distributor, a warehouse, a factory. They're all considered marketing intermediaries because we're providing a product or a service to you. Okay? So don't let that confuse you. Wholesalers, there's 2 types of wholesalers. What are wholesalers? And if I look at wholesalers, they sell to businesses or institutions. They're marketing intermediaries like rack jobbers. If you go to Jewel, or if you go to some of the stores in the morning, you have a lot of people putting stuff on the rack, like if you're there at 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, and you go in there and you say, hey, do you know where I can find the milk? And he goes, I don't work here. I'm with General Motors, General Mills, or I'm with the Pepsi Cola, or I'm just doing this. But some of them, they kind of have a general idea. I think it's around the corner there. But see, so that offsets the cost, and that's part of the reason I use that supplier, that vendor, because electronically they could tell exactly when something is short. So when they build fill up the truck, they know already I'm low on Frito-Lays, but I have enough regular barbecue potato chips. Because a lot of things when we're looking at the technology, my suppliers or my vendors a lot of times are connected instantly. So when you're scanning that item in the store or buying something in any of the stores and they scan it, you pay out, it's already sending information to my suppliers saying, we're behind after so many units are sold, you should restock that. So remember, none is done by chance. It makes it easier for use and resale of other items, some retailers to consumers. Two types of warehouse. One just does storage and the other one does distribution. If I look at a warehouse, a lot of times we have the storage and the distribution is it may be underneath the procurement or supply chain from a company, but if I'm a smaller business, I may have a storage and then basically UPS comes and picks up from my storage, or I may have both aspects of the operation. Remember, if a company is utilizing and has control of both the storage and the distribution, something that Walmart has, they could contain the cost. Now, if I have my storage where I keep it so I can maintain it because I'm paying the rent and I know what I have to make sure it's there, but the distribution is UPS or the post office, I have to depend on them. So if they raise their rates, I have to raise my rates. Okay? And same thing, there's some companies that all they do is do storage. I'm a small business, and I go into if I look at some of those storage units that they sell to consumers, if you got too much, what do you call it? You don't have any garage space or anything else, you could rent a storage spot. Now this could be considered also a storage thing. You could store there. They sell more than just a little cubits if you got a bigger business, because I know some of my individuals I work with that have small businesses, they have big garage storages where they can just keep the material, because they buy it. Remember, I need the storage, because a lot of times at a business I buy it in 6 months before I actually sell the inventory, and sometimes I buy it because I get a good deal on the inventory, as long as I don't think it's going to be outdated, like jeans or something else, like blue jeans, Levi jeans. Usually most of the styles you get the basic Levi jeans are always the same style year around. You could sell it, so I would store it if I get a good price on the items, and then later on sell it. Like I look at the cost of storage. Remember, I bought the inventory. I'm not making any money off of it. I'm storing it. So for every how much I'm paying for the storage, I got to divide it by the units that are being stored there. Plus, I got to carry insurance. What if this gets watered down? What if someone steals it? So there's a lot. Or what if it's something that the style's out of style by the time I'm ready to sell it? So storage is good. But remember when we talked about we're going to be going, we're going to be talking about accounting, where they go LIFO in, LIFO out is inventory turnaround. So sometimes you don't have too much of an inventory if you're being benchmarked against the inventory. Materials handling is inside the movement of a warehouse, no storage. Drop shippers, production to buyer. If you look a lot of the catalog stores that will send you the catalog, when you buy the merchandise, it does not come from the catalog company, let's say Woman Within or whatever. I'm just making some names of some catalogs, or LL Bean. They may have it at the warehouse, so basically it's just going to, or the manufacturer, he or she sells it to, send it to you directly. This way they don't have to worry about the inventory. The manufacturer, he or she's not in the business of selling to the customer, just making it as a manufacturer, but they'll store it for them and they'll ship it directly one item at a time at a higher cost to the catalog company. Okay, when I'm looking at this, so wholesalers, retailers, now sell to ultimate customers' use. Category killer stores like Toys R Us. When I look at Toys R Us, I could go to Walmart, I could go to Target, I could go to Kmart, and I could find a Barbie doll. And usually the Barbie dolls may be, I may have a limited amount of items to the Barbie dolls, accessories. Or I may only have, if I'm in a predominantly Caucasian neighborhood or European, I have more white types of Barbie dolls. More in the Hispanic area, I'll have more of the flip side, more of a Latino or Mexican type of Barbie doll. But if I look at Toys R Us, they usually have the whole product line more than any other stores, because that's why they could keep the cost. The cost a little bit higher, but if I go to Toys R Us, for example, I know I'll find my item. They will have it there because that's their whole business of toys. Where Walmart, Target, or some of the other stores, they just have a department or a smaller section that only deals with toys for kids, okay? And then they compete against price, service, entertainment, location, selection, and internet stores. So those are all my retail, non-retailing stores. This is all part of the distribution system. I got the farmer, the warehouser, and then send it to the manufacturer or processing plant, and then I finally get it to me as a store to the end customer. I have e-commerce or electronic retailing. If you look at, used to have Amazon doing a lot of that coming in. Used to be Google's coming in and doing some selling. So there's other people that, eBay has basically is all electronic, but there's other individuals come in and say, hey, we can make some money. We're already in the internet business. So when we talked earlier, this is a horizontal type of integration. We could do it. Let's go for it. And direct sales and marketing. And then also you have your agents and broker. Brings buyers and sellers together. Never takes title to the goods. Assist in negotiations. Look at your realtor or your car. The brand new car dealer, when you look at it, you're the first owner. But he or she has to buy the car and put like 30 miles or 50 miles. You have to put it on the truck, off the truck, do a real quick test run. But they basically never take ownership. So you always have it. When you go to Walmart, you buy the computer that's off the shelf. It's from Hewlett Packard, even though it says Walmart or Costco on there. You're the initial buyer. They're just the intermediary. They're not taking possession of the goods. They're just the person in between. Okay, so what else we have? So you've got that 6 types of utilities. Now let's look at the utility. The intermediaries create utilities. So if I wanted to, let's look at this one. Now this is all part of your marketing. What kind of utility you create to your consumer? If I changes raw materials into useful products. Remember utilities. Producers generally provide a form of utility. Starbucks makes coffee the way the customers want it. Levi Strauss transforms denim into clothing. Now I can make my own coffee. I don't have to go to Starbucks, but they're taking the coffee bean, everything I could buy. I could buy a can of coffee, I could buy my creamer, my latte, mix it all up, grind it if I wanted, and they could do it all for me. But for a higher price, $5, $6, $7, $8, they'll do it for me, and it comes when I want it. I don't get the mess, and so people are willing to pay for that. Now, so that's form. So if your business has something that's changing a form, that's going to be part of your marketing. Now, time. Makes products available when customers want them. Many Walgreens, and I use that for example, are open 24/7. So part of the part of the retail, the part of the distribution, that the pharmaceuticals send it to the Walgreens, and then from Walgreens, you as a customer come in there. But there's other stores. Walmart has a pharmacy. Jewel Osco may have a pharmacy. But some of the pharmacies are open 24/7, similar to the hospital, that no matter what, you know that pharmacy is open to have your goods. And that's basically time. And, do I buy it online? I could get it quicker, I don't have to leave, but how long do I have to wait? Time is a cost. So if I say I got it now or I deliver it 24 hours, I could buy something online and it says it takes 3 days. Normal shipping comes 3 days. I need it today. Sure, we'll do it for today, but you're paying $70 and they'll ship it the same day and hand deliver it to you on that same day, but you're paying for that cost because time is a utility and it's something that's part of the distribution chain. If you want it faster, you pay more for it. Okay, now place adds values to products. Get something to drink. Add values to products by placing them where people want them. Banks place ATMs at convenient location. Pepsi is available on campus and vending machine. So where you're located makes a big difference. If you're closer to your customer base, so a lot of businesses are, online is good. I could be anywhere in the world, the United States. But if I'm opening up a face-to-face, a regular traditional store, I try to be close to my customer base. If I'm buying a car, A lot of people may buy just General Motors or Ford product because the dealership's right there. So they know if something breaks down or if I got to drop it off for maintenance, it's right there. So that's a plus. Not always. I may be a Lexus type individual, and I'll drive the furthest way just to get a Lexus or a Subaru, and it may not be closer. But a lot of times, some people, if it's just a car, I'm looking at just a basic car, gets me from one to the other, got the warranty, everything else, I'll buy the one that's closer to me. Okay, now possession utility helps transfer ownership from one party to another, including providing credit. So if I'm looking at possession, pay for McDonald's with your Visa card. Car dealer offers loans to the buyers. Activities, installation, guarantees, follow-up, renting, do not want to own, delivery, railroad. So if I'm looking at how close I can get it delivered to me, and if I look at possession and say, hey, buy now. Oh, I don't have the cash. While the sale ends at 9 o'clock, you got a debit card or a credit card. So possession is anything I could do to get the individual to make the commitment that he or she is going to receive the goods in a timely manner. Now, the second time, I'll guarantee that you'll get it in 2 days. I mean, some people, they want possession, but they don't want a house. They just need a place to live in, so they basically will do some renting. Now, the other thing, delivery. Railroad is the number one. It delivers 30 to 40% of all goods because it's less expensive. You can take the bulk. The next one is motor vehicles, 25% and up. But you figure motor vehicles, the gasoline prices go up, the diesel prices goes up. What happens, the cost of delivering from that intermediary goes up. So a lot of trucks will come from one point to the railroad. They'll piggyback on the railroad and they'll deliver to the destination. Another truck will take it off and piggyback to your location. But if you want the deliveries from one point to the other point, you have to pay for that trucker, then it's going to cost you. In the wintertime, there's delays, there's traffic, there's some accident, so a lot of things could delay your shipment. Water is is to the pipeline, and pipeline like oil, you get an air is the most fastest but the most expensive. Anyone who fly and you look at your bag to weigh how much you weigh, because the airplane is limited by the capacity to how many people they could put in. It's also limited by the size of the items they could put in. Depending, different planes could put in larger items. Plus, they're also restricted by the weight. The plane needs so much weight. If it has too much weight, it won't take off because it doesn't have the thrust that is needed. Okay, so we have that information. Information. The internet is my information. I'm not talking about buying a pop or anything, but even information. If I look at the government saying that every candy bar got to say everything that's in there, I'm looking, man, I don't know half of these things because they look like I should have took chemistry to understand. Some of the stuff it tells you how much is real, how much is artificial, how much fat, how much saturated fat, anything I want. Also, the internet provides information. When I'm looking at one computer or one smartphone to another smartphone, I could do a comparison before I even look at it. What's this? So, a lot of times you go to a salesperson, or if you go to the store to buy the product, I may feel intimidated. I'm not thinking straight. Here I have a general idea of which one has and what I need, and which ones are comparable, which ones carry the same product or the same software, and what am I getting for money. It's easier to compare what are the warranties and customer review on that. So I get all that from the information. So as a business owner, I have to make sure my site has all the information that my consumers want. Because otherwise, if I don't find it on the site, I just Google it and say, give me the ranking of so-and-so iPhone versus a Samsung. Boom. And I'm going to get people that are techies. That's what they do. They provide information, and they'll tell me the ranking, and they'll tell them their personal opinion, because they're supposed to be the experts. And then look at one or two, and I have a general idea. And then look at the review of the individual. And service utility provides service during and after a sale. If you look at most new cars, and we're paying $40,000, $50,000 for a car, let's say for the first 2 years, we'll do the oil change, and we'll do all the maintenance for you because you're paying such a high end on that. Teaches customers how to best use the products. Sometimes they have, if you don't know how to download, like my daughter wasn't sure, or some students don't know how to download information from their, let's say Samsung into the iPhone, you take it in there, and the reps will show you, here's how you do it. They'll show you online how you set up your own, how to connect to the internet and do it automatically. In college placement offices help students find jobs. So that's a service, okay? So that's those are my 6 types of services, right? I got them all. Very good. Okay, the next thing, retailers. What are retailers? General information. Retailers approximately are, and this according to the most current, I think it's from 2013, approximately 2.3 million retailers in the U.S., not including websites. Retailers in the U.S. employ over 11 million people. That's a pretty good number. I think it's like 400 or 100 million in the U.S., if I ain't mistaken. Sells to the ultimate consumers, use only. I'm not selling business to business where they're using it and making a component. Retailers sell straight to the users, to me, the end users, and operate in many different structures. If you look at Walmart or Costco's, they basically, early in the morning, till 10 o'clock. They're only selling business to business. You got to be a business to business member to go in there and use your tax ID number for whatever. After 10 o'clock, when businesses are opening up their own businesses, then they're opening up to sell to the consumers, and they turn from a warehouse to basically a retail operation. Top line retailers are eBay, online retailers, eBay, Amazon. Walmart's number one, pretty good. Target, Next Select, and when you say top line, because they do a lot of movement of individual CDs, and it gives them so many hits or activities versus some of the other ones, because you're looking at each item you sell. So if you got 1,000 million of a disc, you have more activity going on. Fastest growing retail categories: video games, sports and fitness, home and garden, furniture, event tickets, and customer electronics. Category killer, we talked about those already. Okay, so we're pretty good on this. Now, retail distribution, real quickly, strategies for retail distribution. If I look at intensive distribution system, it basically puts as many retail outlets as possible, including vending machines. Look at vending machines; they're everywhere. Go to school, go to a lot of stores. Every floor is a vending machine. That's intensive. If I look at Walmart, they're like rabbits. Every corner, every neighborhood, there's not Walmart, Walgreens. I got stuck with the W. They're everywhere. Very intense. Okay, now the other ones you're looking at is selective. When I look at selective, use only for a preferred group available retailers in area. So if I'm looking at certain selective, I may have, let's say, the vitamin shop, or I may have, for lack of better words, Jiffy Lube. Maybe they're around, but not in every corner. You know, they're dispersed a little bit differently. Very selective on that. Exclusive, used for one retail outlet in a given geographic area. I'm trying to think of which one would be exclusive. I was trying to think of Barrington Coat company store. They're basically one big geographic. You don't see too many all over like you would McDonald's or something else. You'd see them basically very retail outlet in a certain geographic area. Okay? Doing good on this one? This one's pretty quick. I mean, the whole thing I want you to remember out of this one, the difference between wholesale retailers, but I'll look in these 6 utilities, because this is also, I'm open at a certain time in my business, my place is a good location, and I let the customers come in and use a debit card or credit card, or I have layaway for them. I provide them information and online, and I service the customers. This is all, if you're marketing, this is all businesses are using all this at the end. Remember, the customers are looking at us, they could go make their own clothes, they could go right to the factory, they could go right to the farm. They're looking at us as a retailer, that we've got all the connections. If you're looking at some of the highlights, the retailer does all the connections for the consumer, so it makes it easier, and we provide all of these utilities, and the more we provide, the better we are. Okay? So I've got retail distribution. Did I do this one? Okay. So we got, okay, we did this one. Sorry. Okay. Forms and non-store retailing. If I look at some of forms and non-store retailing, there's the various different ones. Vending machine, Kazakhs, carts, dispense convenience goods when customers deposit sufficient funds. Okay, easy. We've got that one. We've got electronic vending, retailing, selling goods and services to the ultimate consumers over the internet. Telemarketing, sales of goods and services via phone. The telemarketing, they sell a good job, maybe insurance or something else. But if I want to buy a cold product, I got to see it. I'm a visual. Will it fit me? Well, you know what I mean? So they're basically more, if I look at telemarketing, more for a service. If I'm looking at or direct me to something else. Are you interested in joining a club? Are you interested in attorney service? Are you interested in dental service? So telemarketing has their things. Most individuals want to see the product, at least a picture of it. So that's what internet takes. Direct selling goods and services, customers in their homes or workplaces. So direct selling, if you look at business to business, Motorola does not come to my computer shop. Motorola expects me, the salesperson, to come to their business. Now, some businesses, if I'm a computer repair individual, some people may be having that open up. I may not have a shop, but I'll come to your shop. They have grooming dogs will come to your house because, you're a business person. your window shield is broken, so it's kind of like a direct sale. They come to your location, and you got door-to-door salesmen will come to your shop. So that's direct selling. Okay. The old vacuum cleaner, you don't see that anymore. Multi-level independent salespeople and contractors. I could have my own sales force, but I'm small. I may contract out my selling activities to a company or telemarketer that also phones up to make that to qualify the customer. This is another thing telemarketers does, to do some prospecting to see, hey, can I find someone? I pay them, and they give me a list of potential customers to follow up with, or then so they're like a outside contractors or a higher contractor. If I look at an insurance agency, not one that, or even go to some of the stores and they have AT&T, Verizon, they have all the different carriers and different kind of phones. They're basically selling the phones, but they are contractors for Verizon, for AT&T, and they get a certain percentage for every contract or every customer they sign up. So they kind of find that balance. It's not the same as using your own workforce. Direct marketing, like it or not, is any activity that directly links manufacturers or intermediaries to the ultimate customer. That's direct marketing. Okay, let's get online sites. What do they need? Important features of e-commerce websites. I don't care what business you have. You got to have a website. Where do you find the information? I get a receipt. Here's my website. Any problem, call the website. You want to win $20 certificate? Do my customer survey on the website. While you're on the website, this is another way I could attract a customer. Once they log in, I get their email. I can start not spamming them, but sending them, because they already like my operation, coupons. McDonald's does that or on that. Establish the brand, users reviews, professional site and design, alternative payments. Remember, I'm a small business medium. They don't never been to my shop. I'm going to be working on my garage, out of the basement. But my website looks top of the notch. It looks like, man, this, I may be standing there in front of this big building. It could be a building I'm just visiting, or my office is a little corner. They don't know I own that at all. They just see, man, that is a big site. And the site, if it looks professional, then, in a lot of sites, you could get people when you, for a fee, they'll help you do the sites, they'll update the site, they have templates for a lot of the site, so you come across professional, and they'll say, I like that person, he must be a big business, because look how professional his site, his website is. Don't underestimate the web. A lot of people, when you're looking back here, remember we're looking at this information, types of utilities, finding out things about the individuals. They're going to go on the internet first to find out about you. What are your hours? Where's your location? What's your product line? What goods you're selling. I can tell right away if it's a small business or a large business just by what they're selling. You get little sites, few goods. It's not too big of an operation. You want to come across, and from learning from marketing, bigger than you are, coming across at an image that they think you're an established company, and you are. I'm not trying to say that, but remember, some people say, they're too small, I don't like to do business, to take care of it. You come across. That's what makes the internet against the large big box, gives you a fair plane to play on. Okay, channel relationships. If I look at this, there are 4 systems: corporate distribution systems. And if I look at that, let me just move it over here. It says one firm owns all the organizations in the channel. Goodyear, Sherwin-Williams. They control from manufacturing to the distribution. They buy the paint, so the supply chain. They put it to the factories. They own the trucks. From the factories, they go to the warehouse. From the warehouse, they distribute it to the individual stores. Contractual distributions like Subway, franchise systems, McDonald's, Subway, Sonic. Basically, I'm a franchisee. I use their foods, because all foods has to be the same consistency, same hamburger meat, same kind of buns. So any McDonald's I go into, everything tastes the same, and I utilize their distribution system. I'm at the end, so I buy from them, and they take care of it. Wholesale sponsored chain, IGA or Ace Hardware. If I look at them, they're more like a cooperative, but they use a distribution system to all their co-ops. Okay, and then associate grocers are True Value. All right, so you've got that. Administrative distribution exists when producers manage all the marketing functions at the retail level. Example: Kraft Foods and Ralph Lauren, for the hair, they control the whole. They not only control the distribution system, they are the administrators or the keepers of the distribution system. Okay, what's a supply chain? A link of activities to move goods and services from the source of raw materials to the ultimate customers in different stages. Supply chain management, if I'm looking at, is the process who's controlling the supply chain. I order, but I've got goods coming in. Look, when I look at the supply chain, when you look at just-in-time inventory, and we did the operation a little while back, I don't need the paint. Look, let's make something where people could visualize this. I am going to build a house. In my supply chain, I don't want the wood too early because I need the foundation. You got to dig it up. I got mud all over. So the part of supply chain, when do I get the wood delivered? I want to deliver once the foundation is in, and do I deliver all the wood for the whole house? No, because it's going to get ruined, someone's going to beat that. I deliver just enough to frame it out. Then later on, somebody else will deliver, the drywall on the inside, and the siding on the outside, and the roofing. And then somebody else is going to deliver the other parts, and then we should be working all the way through. So if I'm looking at this, I control the whole supply chain, so we're doing pretty good at this. All right. Now, popped up here. That takes care of the supply chain. The next one we have, I am looking at the logistics, and that's the last one. Let me just turn this off. I hope this larger, because a lot of people are looking at it. I'm not too worried about you seeing my face, because I'm always in the corner here. Because it just gives you so you can see my expression, that I'm excited. And plus, you know who I am. You know what I mean? So who's this person behind the voice of Dr. George. You see Dr. George. Okay, let's look at the logistics, the definition. Logistics of formal definition. This is a quick overview. Logistics, the planning, implementing, and controlling a physical flow of materials, final goods, and related information from points of origin to points of consumption. Firms may outsource companies specializes in trade compliance to determine what is needed for products and to global service. If I look at FedEx, or if I look at UPS, they do a lot of global. From a small business, I don't have to worry about it. I file out the paperwork. They do the shipping. They do all the going through the importing and exporting. They do through all the checkpoints, because that's basically their process. They do pre-process before they send it out. They come in there, and so if I get inspections to some coming in to make sure are the goods labeled properly, there's nothing out there. They control that for a fee. I don't have to get involved. Some companies like Walmart does it all by themselves, because they've got the distribution globally. That's how they work it. Inbound logistics brings raw materials, packaging, other goods and service information from suppliers to producers. Remember, suppliers also a revenue. They may help me with my advertising. As long as I'm being successful, I buy more from them. So there is, they may do a cooperative, they may do alliances, even though they're not selling, because indirectly I'm selling their goods. The raw goods, they're just converting it to the form utility and delivering it to me on time. Material handling is within the organization. Outbound logistics manages the flow of finished goods and information from business buyers to the consumer. So most retailers, you're the one who's going to do your ads, your coupons. Reverse logistics brings goods back to the manufacturer because of defect or recycling. If I look at let's look at LL Beam. I use those for example. How does LL Beam get the material? I order it, and I know where they're at. I forgot where they're at, but I order it in Massachusetts, if I'm mistaken. If I order it, I get it the next day. Wow! Do they ship it right away? No. What happens is UPS or FedEx has warehouses, because LL Beam does so much activities for a fee. They're their warehouse, their logistics administrator. So LL Beam knows these kind of goods, sweaters, ties, always move. So they'll already have them there, and then when I order, FedEx basically puts in LL Beams and sends it to me. I order to LL Beams, they get the order, they send it out, and they have it the next day, minimize everything else. And LL Beam pays, that's why I say free shipping, because it's all local, because they pay a little bit higher price. If they pay a little higher price for the distribution chain, it means I'm paying a little bit higher higher end, but I don't mind. I get it quicker. In my mind, I think, hey, I got free shipping. Indirectly, nothing is free. It's embedded somehow in the core, in the cost. And then freight forward is puts many small shipments together to create a single large shipment that can be transported cost effectively by trade or train. So I may True Value. They buy by bulk. They'll give it to the geographic area with a warehouse for True Value or Ace Hardware, the co-op. So everyone comes in. Look, if you go and if you're buying goods at market day at your church or your synagogue or your mosque or your place of worship or at your schools or your nonprofit organization, what are they doing? They're getting the shrimp, the things from all over, and they're basically doing it on the inside. So I come to one location and I buy from them. So that's the when I look at this freight forward. They buy it for large quantity, and me as individuals buy a little at a time. So it's not a retailer; they're just doing the distribution from that place to here. But it doesn't make sense for me to send one, steak or a box of steaks or potato chips or popcorn, whatever you're selling. I can send a whole bunch in one big shipment to that nonprofit or to that central location, and the market and they're just the organizers, and then they basically distribute it to everyone else. And the cost a bit higher, but I get something I think is unique that no one else has it. Intermode shipping uses multiple modes of transportation to complete a single long distance. Piggybacking, fishy backing, trailers placed on boats. That kind of makes sense, fishy backing, birdie backing, trailers placed on plane. Expensive, less expensive, basically the cheapest that you could get, but it takes you longer. Remember, look at the time. So that's basically takes care of our supply chain. And so we'll bring it back so everyone can see it again. We're at 200. So if I'm looking at this, when I'm looking at the logistic as a manager or department, anything I'm doing, small business, medium, who controls it? It could be one person. It could be you when you're by yourself. You basically are the supply chain. You look at the intermediaries or people who are within the supply chains actually either getting me the supplies or sending it to my clients or my customers. The biggest one is just utilities. Your business is wrapped around. When I look at why would I go to a store if I'm buying something online, how quickly do I get it? How, where's the destination? If it's something overseas and I get a good price, I say, man, by the time it goes here, I'm not going to get it overnight. But they could say, hey, you're buying it from me from England. You're buying it from me from the European Union. But we've got a distribution center in the U.S. So you're buying it here, we can ship it right out here. Because he asked, where's your location? United States or Canada or Mexico or whatever country, because they already got the warehouse. They may not be making it. They're still making it in the country, in England or France or China. But they have distributors or warehouses here so they could get it right away. Okay? All right, so we got that. So remember, these are all part of your marketing. Try to put those into your some of your words when you're doing. You need some of your. So when you're looking at it, you control this. This is what a customer looks: form, time, place, possession, information. All this should be part of your integrated marketing plan somehow included in there. Okay. So my name is Dr. George Mochocki, and this was session 15 of chapter 15, supply chain distribution from a small business to medium. This is just a general idea that as a business owner, I have to know. So if I want to reduce my costs, I can't reduce my costs for the ultimate cost of the product because my competitor's cost is there. I have to look, where could I minimize? Instead of using UPS or FedEx, could I use the post office? Sure, sometimes they're not, they're doing pretty good because I complain, I'm buying some aquarium plants and they're going to charge me, UPS is like $25. It's more than what I'm paying for the plan. I said, put it into priority mail. You could just zip it. Well, they're not guaranteed. You zip it, they'll be good for the 2 days. I've never had any problems with priority mail. Once in a while, I get it, I turn it in, I get it within the next day. I could track it, makes my life easier. I can reduce the cost and people will buy more. Because if I'm paying more for shipping than I'm paying for, unless it's a diamond, I'm paying more for shipping. My God, I just go to the regular store. Because if I get a good price here, I add the shipping together, it costs me more buying it online. You have to look at it that way. That's how the consumer's looking at it. So anything in this change, and time, how quickly I get it, if I want it next time, costs you more, if I could minimize the time and everything else. Look, if you go to McDonald's, you could go through the drive-thru or Wendy's and everything else. If I see 6, 7 people, this is change the form. Oh, it's going to take me too long. Or if I walk in, which one is faster? Usually the drive-thru is faster because customers are in their cars. They want to be driving. If I see 6 cars, they're going to drive by. So they try to keep that line down to minimums of 3, 4 cars so individuals will wait in line. But then you don't know. If you wait in line, you got a school bus, a whole bunch of kids. You'd be like going in that line at McDonald's and waiting for 1,000 people. Like, oh my God, my time. And you look, okay, should I leave now? And then you say, if I go to the other place, how much time to get there? All that is a cost factor, okay? How quickly I can get the customer out. So remember, this one is out of this whole session. This is your most important. The rest of them is how to reduce my expenses. Again, my name is Dr. George Mochocki, and I'll see you in our next video session. And have a nice day. Bye.